Hey guys, Jeremy here from Kitchen Dad again. Today we're going to talk about smoking a brisket. Brisket is my personal favorite barbecued meat, so to speak. I know a lot of people like ribs, but to me, a brisket done right is pretty hard to beat. If you go to your grocery store, you might only find the flat, but I recommend trying to find a whole brisket. It's got what's called the point on top of the flat. It's a little fattier, but it's a lot more flavorful. Some people prefer the lean brisket, which would be coming from the flat, but I personally like the point, so I have a whole brisket today. My smoker is not huge, and we're not serving that many people, so I'm actually going to cut this in half lengthwise as well as widthwise, so that I'm going to save half of it in the freezer for another day, but I'm also going to make sure that our guests will have either some of the flat or some of the point. I'm going to season it with just a simple rub that has brown sugar, salt, black pepper, and garlic salt, and paprika. It really doesn't matter too much what you put on there as long as you make sure you have enough salt. You could just do salt and pepper if you want. I do like the brown sugar because it just caramelizes a little bit on the grill. But that being said, the brisket is hard to beat, so you really don't need a ton of seasoning on it. Okay, I have my brisket cut in half and seasoned. I'm going to go check and see if my grill is ready. Depending on the size of the brisket and type of smoker you're using, it could take anywhere from 6 to 18 hours. If you leave the whole brisket together, it could take 12 to 18 hours. I have a small acorn char griller that tends to cook a little bit quicker, even at the same temperature than some bigger smokers. So I'm hoping this one only takes about 3 or 4 hours. Alright, my smoker is at the right temperature. I've got my brisket cut and seasoned. You can do this way ahead of time if you want, even overnight if you want it to kind of marinate a little bit. I also have some wood chips that I've soaked in water for about 15 minutes. I'm going to throw on right before I put the brisket. So now I'm going to take the grate off, add the smoking stone. As you can see, it's pretty black. I've used it a few times. Sorry, I'll put the wood chips in, then the smoking stone, throw the grate back on, and then throw the brisket on. You might hear different opinions on this, but I'm going to put the fat side of the brisket down so that it's towards the heat source for 2 reasons. It kind of acts as a protective layer so that the brisket doesn't get overcooked while it's in there. And also, the fat is some of the most flavorful part of the meat, but it doesn't taste great unless you render out most of it. So putting that towards the heat source is going to let most of the fat to render out, but leave just enough that you'll be able to slice some on the meat. After you throw the brisket on, you want to close the lid and adjust your vents at the top and the bottom. The first 20 or 30 minutes or so are the most important to monitor the temperature to see, because like I said, it's going to drop about 50 degrees and then it'll slowly come back up. So once you see where it's sitting after about 30 minutes, then you can maybe monitor it every like 45 minutes to an hour. You may notice after a couple hours the brisket will get to an internal temperature of about 140, 150 degrees and might just sit there for a while. This is completely normal, and the reason is because there's so much water content in the meat that it starts leaking out and evaporates and acts almost as a cooling process, which prevents the temperature from rising. So when it hits that point, you can wrap it in foil if you want to skip this part, or you can leave it alone. It'll eventually, enough water will come out so that the temperature will start to rise again. But remember, for brisket, you want to be looking anywhere from 185 to 205, depending on how tender you like it. Alright, as you can see, I've had an outfit change. The briskets take a while. It's been about 4 hours now, so I'm just going to pop in there and check the temperature. Like I said, this acorn's small. There's not much room for the moisture to evaporate, so it tends to cook a little bit faster than more traditional smokers. So let's pop in here and check it out. The briskets so far, they have a great color. They're nice and dark. They don't look like they're overcooked. The bottoms are especially caramelized. So I'm just going to check the temperature at one spot. If you want, you can just close the lid for a second while that thermometer probe is going. Ideally, you'll have a Wi-Fi thermometer that you don't even have to open the lid to check your meat. We'll probably be reviewing those here coming up shortly. But my small piece is at 180. and the large piece is about 160. So I think what I'm going to do is wrap both of them in foil and then let them sit on there for another hour or so. That way that moisture will stop evaporating, we'll keep it nice and juicy, and finish raising them up to about 195. I personally like the brisket to be a little more on the tender side. Alright, so I've got both pieces of my brisket off the grill. The smaller piece that was mostly the flat took about 5 hours. The fatter piece that was more of the point took about 6 hours. I had wrapped them in foil with about an hour left to go, and now I'm going to slice them open. When you slice in a brisket, you always want to slice against the grain. You can see the muscle running through the brisket, so you want to cut perpendicular to that. It's super easy to do with the flat, it's pretty obvious, but the point is kind of marbly with its fat vein, so you might not be able to do it as easy with the point. To be honest, if you cook the point where it's super tender, I usually just cube it up anyways. So let's get to it. Alright, so here you can see the muscle running through the brisket. It's going this way, so I'm going to cut perpendicular. And I'm just going to start slicing that. This long, thin knife is usually best for that. You can see it's got a nice little smoke ring in there. So, just go ahead and slice the whole thing through. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, enjoy your finished product. Keeping it simple today on a slider bun with a little bit of horseradish sauce and thinly sliced red onion. As I mentioned, all the products that we use, I'll link to those in the description, but if you like the video, feel free to subscribe. We have big plans coming for you in 2020. Cheers.